Hey guys, Dr. Keo here. I have a question for you. If there was a way that you could ensure that your child grow up as happy, as healthy as they can and get an edge on life, would you do it? I talk to parents every day and they're interested in making sure their kids start out healthy and grow up as healthy as they possibly can. And they ask me questions about breastfeeding and toys and accessories and pacifiers and first foods. But I'm here to tell you that the best way to ensure that your baby gets the best start on life and grows up happy and healthy is to make sure that they get checked. They get their spine and the nervous system checked after birth. Not necessarily adjusted, but at least checked, right? Because not only did your baby just go through all the effects of the birth, right? Because birth is, if you've ever been through a birth or seen a birth, you know birth is not easy, right? And it's clear that we start our lives out with some untreated problems. But not only did the babies go through the birth process, but they also had all the external forces upon them during when they were in the womb, right? Those external forces that are sometimes called intrauterine constraint, and they can affect how the baby positions themselves, grows, and develops. So I want to talk to you right now about what that process looks like when you have a misalignment in your upper cervical spine or your head or your cranium after birth and it isn't resolved. I want to show you guys that process of what that looks like, that adaptation process as the baby goes from an infant to a toddler to a young child to a teen and into an adult. And this isn't meant to be fear-based, this is just meant to be educational so you guys can understand what the body's doing throughout that time. So let's just take an example. Let's say a baby the mother's coming in pregnant and the mother has intrauterine constraint, right? Which is basically abnormal external forces on the baby that's affecting how they position themselves, grow, and develop. Or maybe the baby's just playing in a really awkward position and that's going to be also playing into this external forces. Maybe the mom feels the rib or the foot up in the rib cage, and you know when your baby's not in the best position. You can feel that a lot of times. So then the baby's born, and now a few weeks later the baby develops torticollis, right? If you don't know what that is, that's a shortening of this muscle here, which causes this type of presentation. And then a few months after that, the young baby starts to develop chronic ear infections, right? And they're put on antibiotics, and the antibiotic maybe cleared up for a week, and then it reoccurs, and you get this process of reoccurring ear infections and then multiple antibiotic use, and maybe that baby eventually gets referred out to an ENT and they get tubes, right? Or maybe the baby doesn't get tubes and the baby continues to be on antibiotics. So now that baby is let's just say they're a teenager, right? And now the teenager is starting to have issues with sinusitis or mastoiditis, sinus headaches, or just muscle tension up in the upper cervical spine and in the back of the head. So your doctors will usually say, okay, well, let's just wait and they'll probably grow out of it, right? Which babies do. Babies do grow out of, the head tilt sometimes, and sometimes the ear infections they'll grow out of usually. But that doesn't change the fact that subluxation or that misalignment was never corrected. The body has to adapt to that misalignment as it grows from an infant to a toddler to a teenager and a young adult, and so on and so forth, right? So that's the process of how that adaptation takes place if that subluxation is never found and corrected after birth, right? So that's why we're so passionate about making sure that your child gets checked and gets adjusted if need be by a pediatric chiropractor right after birth. So hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that made sense. If you have questions or comments, please let us know. You can reach out to us on the Facebook page. And if you know somebody who's expecting, or have somebody with a small child that's going through some of this very same stuff, please share this video with them so they can become educated and make the best decision for themselves and their family. Thank you so much. Have a great day.